Eagles Entertainment.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro with you. Hope everybody had a great weekend. The Eagles are less than 3 weeks away from the start of the regular season. Unbelievable, right? September 13th at Washington. Well, that game counts. Between now and then, the Eagles have a whole lot of work to do, and that includes trimming the roster and establishing a practice squad. And so the work continues at the NovaCare complex. In today's podcast, we want to do a couple of things here. First of all, a little bit later on here, we're going to get to the draft class of 2019 and check in with the 4 players from that draft class who are still on the roster. But first, on Sunday, I had a chance to talk with head coach Doug Pederson about the progress his team is making in 2020 and the idea of no crowd. So there's not going to be fans at FedEx Field. Has he seen the right kind of intensity on the practice field? That's one of the questions I asked Doug in this exclusive one-on-one. The Eagles 3 weeks away from the regular season opener at Washington. Hello, everyone. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro, along with head coach Doug Pederson. Doug, it's a really interesting time in training camp. What has jumped out to you about this football team? Specifically, what happened Friday, the first scrimmage, tackling to the ground sessions?
Yeah, we're obviously under unique and different times. I mean, it's the first time in training camp that I can remember as a player and as a coach that we've gone 6 straight days before there was a real break in there. And the guys did an outstanding job. They had a really good week of practice and preparation. It really gave us an opportunity to see a lot of players, which has been our goal and sort of our message to the guys. And then ending the week, with a scrimmage, really be able to see some of these younger players in game-like situations. And that's been part of our plan. It's been part of my plan for the team. Coming into training camp, we walked away excited where we were. Obviously, as a one offense, one defense, and it's just a matter of putting together another good week this week, with another opportunity at the end of the week to showcase some of our young players again. One
of the points of emphasis in the offseason defensively was adding team speed. When you watch this group in practice, do you see that added team speed?
I do. Especially, you mentioned defense. I think about, Darius Slay at the corner position. He's long, he's lanky. He's got great arm reach. He can run. Then you got Nikhil Roby-Coleman in the nickel spot, who we added there, who can he might be a small, undersized guy, but he packs a punch, and he's got some firepower, got some great speed. Will Parks, playing in that third safety role for us, obviously on special teams. I think, and then the pass rush with the guys healthy and coming back, and I think Fletcher's in a good spot. Josh Sweat has done a really nice job coming back from last season, and adding Vinny Curry, BG, guys like that, getting Malik Jackson back. I mean, that just bolsters your offensive line, or your defensive line. And then I think about the other side of the ball, the offense. Some of the young receivers have really showcased and shown, their quickness and their burst. And it's exciting to see that from those guys, especially working with Carson and the starting offense.
And then how about for you, Doug? I mean, last week the league announced no mascots, no cheerleaders, no sideline reporters at games. And I always enjoyed in preseason games waiting for you to come over and hitting you up with a couple of questions in a preseason game and noticing your demeanor. When things didn't go well in the first half, you were not happy. The intensity. How have you processed all that?
It's going to be different. I have thought about it, or at least I've started the process of thinking about it and how I'm going to react, and it's going to be different. I mean, it is going to be different. It's hard to sit here today and say, oh yeah, it's going to be like this or be like that, because I don't know. We've never done this before, right? So we're just going to embrace it, take it as they come, one day at a time, and my focus is getting the football team ready and playing a game.
All right, what do we have coming up here for practice in this very crucial week at the NovaCare complex?
Yeah, we had a great week last week. We got to carry that over this week. We got to keep putting our players in situational football type scenarios during the week. We're gonna it won't be quite as long. We'll go 5 days this week as opposed to 6 that we did last week. The pads won't be on as much this week, which I think is a good thing now as we get closer to the regular season. But at the same time, we have to get answers, right? We got to get answers on our starters. We got to get answers on some of our young players. And we got a really good schedule coming up this week for them to go out and be successful.
And when does the turn begin, Doug, finally here for Washington? Does it happen next week or is it the week after? I mean, you got to deal with the roster and you've also got to deal with getting ready for Washington.
Yeah, again, that's one of those fine lines. We've, as a staff, and most staffs do this anyway, they do some early season prep, work way back in the spring. They do it a little bit in training camp, but you're so focused on your team right now that you kind of put that down the road a little bit. So we're going to focus on our guys this week. We get into next week and obviously have the schedule changes a little bit again, and we'll put a little bit of prep into Washington and at least our first couple opponents, which is something that we do every year. It is different because normally we're planning for preseason games, but it gives us time now to really prep for these first few games of the season.
Doug Pederson, thanks so much. Have a great week of practice, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
And now for the draft class of 2019. If you remember, the Eagles drafted up in round 1 to select Andre Dillard from Washington State. He started 4 games last year, 3 of them at left tackle. He's now the guy at left tackle. Jason Peters back with the team playing right guard. For Dillard, he feels like this year way different than the way he felt in 2019.
Yeah, this time around it's basically night and day in terms of my confidence and myself and just my strength. The game has slowed down a lot for me, this time around compared to last year for me.
One of the areas of focus for Dillard in the offseason, putting on muscle mass, getting stronger. It's something that he did, and he did well. He feels like he's a different guy physically, and that will help him on the field.
That definitely was a big goal of mine, to bulk up, get more strength and all that during the offseason. Gained about 20 pounds. Kept my body fat percentage the same, maybe a bit lower than it was last year. So that's pretty good. And then I've just been pushing a lot more weight, and the results, I have been feeling them so far in training camp. I just feel a lot more solid out there and stronger, be able to, sit guys down. So.
Of course, having Peters back, the dean of the Eagles offensive line and one of the greatest of all time, welcomed by Dillard, who learned so much last year from JP and continues to do so, even though JP now on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's back. It's unfortunate that, Brooks went down, but, having familiar face back, a guy that's legendary, has a lot of knowledge. It's good to have him on board because, he's one of the greatest linemen ever, and, he just bolsters our group, and, I'm excited to keep learning from him this year.
And so that's an update on number 77, Andre Dillard. Big shoes to fill, and yes, a very big responsibility. Second-round draft pick Miles Sanders, sensational as a rookie. Franchise record, total yards from scrimmage, just did it all. Caught the football, return game was outstanding, and of course running the football, outstanding.
I just expect my role to be that guy to just help the team win as much as possible. Like they've been telling y'all that I'm gonna have a bigger role, and that's a blessing for me, honestly. And I'm just excited to do whatever I can to help this team win, whether if it's on the ground or in the air. I mean, I approach the year every year like I'm the guy, but with it being solidified, just making sure I'm coming back stronger, faster, and smarter, really, so I could be able to do both, just run the ball effectively and strong and just be effective in the passing game with speed and stuff and be great with my hands. Honestly, I just want to get stronger, upper body and lower body wise, just stronger altogether. You know, I want to break more tackles, just show a little bit more on the ground. Just watching film last year, I probably left about almost 200 or 300 yards left on the ground, so I could have had a 1,000-yard season. But it's just little stuff like that.
So yes, you will see a lot of Miles Sanders this year in the Eagles' backfield. How about the other second-round draft pick from a year ago, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, 57th selection overall, had just 10 catches and 1 touchdown grab last season. I had a chance to speak one-on-one with J.J., who feels he's in an entirely different place. You know, they say players make that big jump from year 1 to year 2. Yeah, that's exactly where J.J. Arcega-Whiteside feels he is, and his performance in training camp has been much improved. Here's J.J. Arcega-Whiteside one-on-one. He's here for year number 2. Wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside joins me, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. And J.J., I heard you talk to the reporters asking a lot of questions here. You seem to be in a much more positive, confident place in year number 2. Is that an accurate read on my part?
Definitely.
Yeah. Why is that?
I mean, I worked hard this offseason, Dave. You know, it's one of those things where you work so hard that there's no other result than the better result that's gonna happen. You know, like if I go out there and make a good play or make a good catch or do something spectacular, I'm not surprised because I put in the work for it. You know, and that's definitely different than last year. I was happy to make a play or excited to make a play, and this year I kind of just expect nothing less, and anything less I'm disappointed instead of it happens. So. Yeah, definitely a different mind state and, ready just to help this team win games.
I guess it's hard for people to understand how important it is to really know the offense, feel like you can go out there and not have to think. Are you playing faster on the field now?
Oh, definitely. Like it's crazy because, last year I could get into the huddle and be like, okay, I hope he just calls a play that I know. Or this year it's, whether I'm playing the X, Z, or F, I know the play and I can go out there and not only know what I got to do and how I got to do it, but help the guys near me or help anybody else know what they got if they need it. And having, experienced guys like Zach, DJ, and Greg, I mean, we all, we just look at each other and we know what each other have, So it's definitely different year 2 than year 1.
JJ, last year was the first year that you probably didn't perform as an athlete in your life the way you knew you could. And I wonder how, what the lesson is, what you learned about yourself last year, overcoming that, coming into this year.
Yeah, it's just experience, you get thrown in. It was my first time living in a city, first time living by myself, first time doing taxes. It's just a lot of first times for everything. And the second time around is a lot easier.
You were recognized by your teammates in the virtual off-season program, I guess actually by Ted Rath and his crew, for your off-season work. So congratulations on that. What kind of stuff did you do? Where did you really focus your energies and your areas of improvement?
I met with Coach Pederson right after the season, and he told me. I said, I went up to him. I said, listen, what do I need to do this off-season? And he was like, well, just attack it. Anything that you think you need to work on, attack it. And I took that to heart. I worked on my speed every morning, 2 hours a day. Did speed training. Then after that, I went obviously lifted weights, with the team virtually and anything else that I needed to do. And then got home, did a pool workout, caught from a jugs machine. I had one at my house, and then finished the night off with hot yoga. And that was like what I did every day, 6 hours a day. And it was funny because my mom was like, this whole pandemic is going around and you're not even home. And like, you need to be home. But they understood. My family was there every step of the way. Anything that I needed, they were just a phone call away. And yeah, like next thing I know, my flexibility, speed, durability, everything just kind of, shot up. And, it was hard because I was grinding for weeks and, not seeing any results. And then out of nowhere, the dam broke and I started seeing the fruits of my labor.
Are you going to miss preseason games, not having them?
I'm definitely going to miss the competition. And, these are our teammates out there. We can compete, you can battle, we can fight, and definitely, go at it. But, it's something different about taking it out on somebody else. So that's the part I'm going to miss. But, thankfully, we can build that up and then take it out for real week 1.
JJ, are you the kind of guy who literally writes down goals?
I'm not a guy that writes down goals because, for one, if you fall short, you feel disappointed. But if you surpass them, you get complacent. And honestly, like, I'm just the kind of guy that every day I got to leave the building knowing I got better than the day before. And I feel like with goals, it's like, and I've been a guy at that point to write down goals. And it's like that day, if I didn't feel like I reached my goal, it's just a disappointment. I'm like, nah, it doesn't have to be like that. You can go home feeling good about yourself, even if you didn't have a good day. As long as you learn from the mistakes, you definitely got better and just don't make the same mistake again.
JJ, was football fun, as fun as it could be for you last year? And has the fun returned this year, if there was any of that lacking last year?
Football was still fun. At the end of the day, this is a game I grew up playing. It could have been, I don't want to say funner. It could have been better, more fun. But this year, it's totally different. Like, it's, we attack practice, and once you take out the mental thinking and the what do I need to do, how do I need to do it, and now you just go out there and play. At the end of the day, this is a game that we've played since kids, and taking the field out there is a lot more fun.
Looking forward to seeing you have more fun out there in training camp and in the regular season. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of training camp.
No doubt. Thank you, Dave.
Take care. The fourth member of that Eagles draft class who's still here, defensive end Sharif Miller, a local kid from Philadelphia who went to Penn State and played there. And then last year, very much a developmental season for Miller. And that's what we talked about on Sunday, the progress he made from year 1 to year 2 and how much more comfortable he feels. Hey, Sharif, how's it going at training camp for you?
It's going real good for me. I feel like this year coming in camp, I was in better shape, and I'm just having a better understanding of the defense. So I'm able to play a lot faster and make plays and framework of the defense this year than compared to last year.
Describe last year. What was the experience like for you?
It was different. Just coming into a new system, being around a new group of people and stuff like that, trying to get adjusted like the coaches and how things are run here, how you're supposed to practice and stuff like that.
Did you get frustrated at all? And if not, how did you not get frustrated?
I wasn't really frustrated last year. It was just really just trying to learn from the vets and, see how they operate.
Sharif, how much technique is involved in the game at the NFL level? It's not just talent. I know it's a lot more than that. How much do you think technique is important?
Yeah, technique is real important in the NFL because, everybody's talented, everybody's athletic, so you got to go back to your basic rules with your technique that can help you a long way.
Do you think you're a much better player than you were your final season at Penn State?
Yeah, way more. I'm stronger than I was my final year at Penn State. I'm a lot faster, too, so I would say, yeah.
What are your goals here for the rest of camp?
To finish off strong. I feel like I've been having a solid, good camp, a pretty good camp. Just improving. Last year I had a lot of busted plays and stuff like that, so I pride myself in making sure I don't make no mental errors. As far as like messing up the play call and stuff like that. So I've been real fresh on that. I feel like I made a lot of plays this whole camp. I just gotta finish strong to keep stacking the days.
Sharif, last question for you. Sorry about that. How competitive is that group in the defensive end, room, and how much better of a player does that make you?
Oh yeah, it's a very competitive room. See, I feel like me. I know my best play come out when it's competition. I welcome the competition. That just makes me a better player. I feel like it when it comes to competition. But we got a lot of competition in the room. There's a lot of guys, with different things that what people don't have. But, the competition is good every day.
Are you having fun in training camp? Is it fun?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is fun. It's definitely fun, man, just to get out here and fly around, man, and make plays.
You must have a lot more confidence and just belief in yourself after now that you know the defense and you know what the coaches want?
Yeah. I always believe in myself, no matter what. But I just feel like, this year I'm just more comfortable. I'm not thinking. I'm just out there playing fast. I know what the coaches want, what they expect.
That's awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much for calling, Sharif, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That will do it for this Eagles Insider podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro. Thanks to Peter Kelly and Ray Doyle for putting it all together, and thanks to all of you for joining us each and every episode. If you have a chance to give us a little 5-star rating, that would be so fantastic. We would really appreciate that. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Have yourselves a great Eagles day, and fly, Eagles, fly.
E-A-G-L-E-S